against my window? Are they birds or are they angels? Waking me for worship at Fajr before dawn. Wings against my window. Are they birds or are they angels? Singing me from slumber. Soon night will be gone. I hear sparrows whistle, making me a then. I hear their words telling me I am a lazy man. Come fast to prayer, they say, you will find success that way. Stand up now from where you lay, this is the best time of the day. Wings against my window. Are they birds or are they angels? Waking me for worship at Fajr before dawn. Wings against my window. Are they birds or are they angels?
Assalamu alaikum, peace and blessings be upon you. My name is Abdul Malik Ryan. I'm the Muslim chaplain here at DePaul University, and I'm honored to be leading today's midweek prayer from the Division of Mission and Ministry. We thank you for joining us this morning, and we welcome you to say hello in the comments. I want to begin with a brief prayer to center us in this moment we're about to share together. The song, for those who are wondering, the song was called Wings Against My Window. It's by Dawood Warnsby. He's a popular pioneer in singing Islamic songs in English, and a lot of us who primarily speak English grew up listening to his songs. Loving Creator of us all, we ask you, as you awaken our bodies, to bring tranquility to our hearts. Allow us to concentrate together in this moment, in the midst of all the hardships, sorrows, and anxieties of this difficult time, those that we share in common and those unique to each of us. We do come together during a difficult time. I know, at least for myself, sometimes it's hard to decide when something like the COVID virus that has altered all of our lives so much comes upon us. It's hard sometimes to know if we're talking too much about it or not enough about it. However, from my own perspective, as a person of faith, a faith that is rooted in hope, based on trust in a power greater than myself or the struggles of this world, I feel that it's necessary to make clear to everyone, which is a mistake that sometimes people of faith make, is that we either subtly or not so subtly give the message to others or even to ourselves that we should not talk about our pains, that we should not talk about our sorrows, that we should repress those feelings and those difficulties in favor of a kind of superficial or false optimism about the world. Yet, it is a danger to think that a superficial, false optimism is the faithful way to encounter difficulty. Indeed, one of the secrets of many wise and faithful teachers is to be in touch with our own feelings and to give space and permission for others to be in touch with and to express their own feelings, just exactly as they are. We also find that in community and in prayer, we are comforted to know that we are not alone in our suffering. Another secret that our teachers share is to encourage us not to let hardship or suffering close us off from perceiving and recognizing blessings, to close us off from wonder. During this difficult time of global pandemic, we see around us signs of spring blossoming. We experience holy celebrations of Easter, Passover, Ramadan, which is to start later this week, and many, many others. In this are signs that even with hardship comes blessings. As the Quran testifies, Inna ma'al usri yusra. Indeed, wherever there is hardship, there is also ease. One of the novels that is one of my favorites that I've turned to during this time is the novel Gilead by Marilynne Robinson. There's many beautiful passages in this novel that I've enjoyed reading during this time. But one of the including a passage that talks about what it was like to be a preacher in Iowa, in a small town during the influenza of the early 20th century. That has some strong resonances and also a lot of differences to our own time. But the more I thought about it, what I really wanted to share this morning from Gilead was a very striking passage early in the novel. The novel is written as a long letter or a series of letters from John Ames, who is quite old at this time when he's writing, to his son, who is much, much younger than him. He had him late in life. And he's intending that his son will read these reflections later on after he's gone, when his son is older and able to better understand what he wants to share with him. But the first story that he shares with him, the first story when he begins to write what he wants him to know, the first story that he shares with him is to describe a journey that he took with his father to look for his grandfather's grave. Because of the time and circumstances, this was a journey full of hardship. The narrator makes you feel the hunger and the exhaustion of that journey, the real danger that was present, but also the wonder of the boy and the experiences that he had that seemed like miracles. At the end of the journey, the narrator says, "We looked so terrible when we finally get home that my mother just burst into tears at the sight of us." But he also comments that we spent a good many days on the edge of disaster, and we laughed about it for years. It was always the worst parts that made us laugh. What always stays with me about the story, and what I wanted to bring, though, is after he tells it, the next sentence that he says. And he says, describing a time that was undoubtedly full of many hardships, and which he says was one of the few times in his life, looking back, where he didn't know if he was going to make it, where he didn't know where his next meal would come from, where his next drink of water would come from. He says, that journey was a great blessing to me. At the beginning of this own experience with the pandemic, I had a fleeting thought when I began to realize the enormity of the situation, and when I began to realize that it would be full of uncertainty and full of bad news and full of times where you didn't know what you could do to help, that I had a fleeting thought, maybe I wish I could just wake me up when it's all over. Even if we're in a bad situation, then I won't have to go through the day-to-day, the anxiety and worry without being able to do anything. Yet I quickly dismissed that thought from my mind and realized that even during this difficult time, there would undoubtedly be many beautiful moments of wonder, many beautiful moments of community, many beautiful moments of closeness to God, even amidst the suffering. Life, even when it is difficult, is so precious. Keep your heart awake to the wonder in it. One does not have to deny the suffering to taste the blessings. In fact, they come together. That is the way life is. Our Vincentian charism reminds us that the blessing is often found in encounter with others, especially those who are marginalized, and when one is full of purpose, committed to a mission, even in the face of great obstacles. I want to move along to some prayers, and I would ask everyone, please share in the comments. Share your own prayer, share your own hardship, and I would also invite you to share any blessings that you have found in the midst of this hardship. O most merciful of those who show mercy, be with those who are sick, be with those who are separated from loved ones, be with those who have died, be with those who are unemployed or who worry about being unemployed, be with all those who are struggling, and all those who are struggling to help. Even with all the technology that we have that keeps faces on our screens through most of the day, and even for some of us who are blessed to be with family in this time, the nature of the situation and the nature of the hardship, many of us may feel a loneliness. In this loneliness, there is certainly hardship, but there can also be great blessing even in that. I will close our time together today with a blessing from the Irish author and poet John O'Donoghue. The blessing is entitled For Solitude. May you recognize in your life the presence, power, and light of your soul. May you realize that you are never alone, that your soul in its brightness and belonging connects you intimately with the rhythm of the universe. May you realize that the shape of your soul is unique, that you have a special destiny here, that behind the facade of your life there is something beautiful and eternal happening. May you learn to see yourself with the same delight, pride, and expectation with which God sees you in every moment. Thank you for joining us this morning. Please feel free to continue to share prayers and blessings or reach out to us at the Division of Mission Ministry with any prayer requests or anything that is on your heart. We will certainly keep it in our prayers and thoughts, and we're happy to be with you during this time and to connect with you. Please join us again at the same time next Wednesday and the same Facebook Live page at 9:05 for another midweek prayer. Thanks very much. Goodbye.